Did you know that Spain is in Africa? Anyways, here are the foreign lands of Africa. Like, subscribe and share please to help us. Thanks and enjoy. There are islands closer to the African continent that remain territories of European nations, like the Canary Islands and Reunion Island. But there are two cities that sit on the continent that are part of Europe. There are the cities of Melilla and Ceuta. How did this come to be? Well, let's go back in time. As the closest point between Africa and Europe is 13 kilometers, it is no surprise that North Africans and Southern Europeans were introduced to each other a very long time ago. Back in 700 AD, the Phoenicians found their way onto the African continent and settled in modern-day Morocco, in a place they called Rusadir. However, as time went on, the city fell under the Arab conquest, but eventually in 1497, the city was captured by Spain without any violence and became a base for Spain to explore Africa. Over the years, Morocco would attempt to reclaim the location. However, in 1859, a treaty was signed between Morocco and Spain to recognize Melilla as a port of Spain. In 1995, Melilla eventually became an autonomous city, and it has remained that way ever since. Ceuta, on the other hand, though having a similar earlier history to Melilla, has seen more development because of its closer location to Europe. After 1081, the land was ruled by Berbers and Fez. However, it was taken over in 1415 by the Portuguese during the conquest of Ceuta, which was a surprise attack that took a day to complete since the defenders of Ceuta were completely caught off guard. After about 200 years, Ceuta was annexed by Spain as the ruling Portuguese king died without an heir, and in 1668 the city was ceded to Spain as part of the Treaty of Lisbon. Ceuta then underwent the longest siege in history, as from 1694 to 1727 the siege of Ceuta saw Moroccan forces trying to regain Ceuta, but Spain was victorious, though both parties suffered from casualties. Border wars between Spain and Morocco lasted years after the siege, and eventually in 1860 the Treaty of Wadras was signed between the two parties, in which Morocco would recognize the cities of Melilla and Ceuta as territories of Spain, while Spain would compensate Morocco for the loss in damages due to the years of conflict. Later, Spain and France took over Morocco in 1912, with France occupying the north and Spain occupying the south. So when Morocco gained independence in 1956, Spain still held on to Melilla, Ceuta and a few islands by Morocco, and here lies the issues pressing today. Presently, Melilla's economy is based on trade and tourism, and the city has a population of 86,000 people. The official languages are Spanish and Berber. The city is 200 kilometers away from Ceuta, a city with no airport and can only be reached via ferry or a helicopter ride. Ceuta has a population of 85,000 people and also depends heavily on its ports with retail centers. Both cities use the euro and they are part of the EU. Roman Catholicism is the main religion in both cities, however there is a small Hindu population. Ceuta is also the larger of the two cities. It's not a surprise that the city's locations on the African continent would continue to be an issue. Morocco today claims that the cities are part of Morocco's history, and Spain holding on to them shows Spain is holding on to their colonial past. But Spain claims that these cities were part of Spain before Morocco even existed. This has also led to border control issues, fishing rights, diplomatic incidents, and hypocritical claims, specifically involving Spain's dispute with England over Gibraltar. In 1991, Spain and Morocco looked for a resolution by signing the Madrid Accords, which sought to push the two nations in a cooperation regarding the cities and islands by Morocco. But not much resolution was done regarding the cities. Fast forward to 2007, Spain announced its king would visit the cities. However, Morocco protested against this because it was seen as a show by Spain to solidify their claims over the cities, citing it as provocative and unnecessary. Then in April 2021, Spain admitted a man called Brahim Ghali, a leader of the Polisario Front of Western Sahara, a land that Morocco claims. And this really angered Morocco as they saw it as Spain helping an enemy. Spain claimed it was strictly for humanitarian reasons. Therefore, in retaliation, Morocco relaxed its control on their side of the border to Ceuta, allowing 8,000 migrants to flee into the city, hoping to eventually migrate to Europe. Spain was eventually able to return the people to Morocco, but still had to deal with the refugee crisis. In the aftermath, Spain was condemned for harshly dealing with migrants, while Morocco was condemned for using people as pawns. The UN today still supports Spain over the claims of the cities. However, some African countries and the Arab League are not in favor of this. Today, the borders between Morocco and Spain are nightmares for both nations. Thousands of people have attempted to cross the borders as a gateway to migrate to Europe. Some have been successful, many have been returned, and scores have died. Will there be a conclusion to these cities and who they belong to? It does not seem like Spain will be giving up anytime soon. What is your thought on Spain holding on to land on another continent? Should they simply leave the land and figure out how to integrate 160,000 people back into the mainland? Or do they hold the right to keep dwelling on the foreign land? Comment below. Please excuse my butchering of the word Keita. I believe it's Ceuta. Thanks for watching. Will we see you in the next one?